School is out. I can finally breathe and relax a little bit and make some videos. So who's ready to watch some tarantulas get it on? I knew you would be, you big nasty. Hello tarantula lovers, I'm Alex and welcome back to Tarantula Haven. Today I'm going to attempt to pair two species of tarantulas. My previous attempts recently have not been successful, and that was entirely my fault. I had not been keeping track of their molt dates, so I did not realize how close they were to a molt, so I attempted to pair my Harpactira pulchripes, and if you remember that one, it did not end so well for the male. She ended up eating the male, she pounced on him, and just completely tore him apart really quick. And then I attempted again with another male that a friend sent me, and this time they just stared at each other and absolutely nothing happened, which is unusual when you're trying to breed tarantulas. There's usually some response from one party or the other, but there was none from either one. So this let me know that something was wrong. I pulled him out, I left things alone, and sure enough, a few days later, she ended up molting for me. So I did not realize she was that close to a molt. I thought she had molted sooner, but she did not. And of course, here we are, late spring, early summer, and a lot of our tarantulas are molting right now. So I should have kept track of that so that I would know when that would happen. I also tried with my Hapalopus species Columbia, which is the pumpkin patch tarantula. I attempted to pair them, and that was also unsuccessful. She was a little bit hostile toward the male. The male didn't do very much tapping or anything like that. And again, I did not keep track of when she last molted. I thought she had molted sooner than she had actually molted. And then the very next day, she ended up molting. So yeah, that could have been a disastrous situation as well. So I left things alone. And these tarantulas that I am pairing today, I'm aware of when they molted last, and they are freshly molted, and the males are also fresh. So wish me luck. Let's see how these things go. So the first species that I'm going to attempt to breed today is the Coquiana brunipes, commonly known as the dwarf pink leg. And this is a species that I don't think it's enough recognition. They are a beautiful tarantula, although they're not as colorful as some. They are pretty much black in color, and they have these beautiful pink legs. But as far as their nature is concerned, I find them to be very docile. I don't think that they're very, they're not spicy at all, and they don't tend to bolt a lot. As far as mine have been, they've been pretty docile and pretty much stayed in their enclosure the whole time. They do burrow, so you don't see them a lot, especially when they are younger. But my female has been sitting out on top of the webbing more so nowadays than she used to before. So that's a plus. But they will definitely burrow, and you will not see them a whole lot when you first get them as spiderlings or anything like that. What did I do to prepare for this pairing? I did put her in a larger enclosure just to give her a little bit more room, gave her some time to acclimate to that enclosure. I did increase the humidity a little bit just by adding more moisture to the substrate, although they do tend to like it a little bit moist anyway. So as far as that's concerned, I really didn't change much. And of course, I fed her a lot before pairing her, but not to the point where she was overfed, just enough to where she was nice and plump and would not consider the male food. So let's see how this one goes. Hopefully it will turn out better than my other ones. Coquiana brunipes is a dwarf tarantula that doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but they are beautiful in their own right, and I've enjoyed them quite a bit. When they were younger, they did a lot of burrowing and I didn't see them much, but now that they're older, they kind of sit out on top, and they will go down into their burrows when disturbed, but it doesn't take much to get them to come back out. As you can see here, I'm kind of digging around for the male to come out, and as I'm digging around and making a disturbance, she gets curious enough to come out of the burrow. As I get the male to go into the female's enclosure, I didn't expect a whole lot. It doesn't seem like he's very excited. Although he is doing a little bit of trembling, a little bit of tapping, he wasn't really showing a whole lot of enthusiasm, like he wasn't really sure anything was there. Finally, when he found her burrow, he started getting excited. He noticed something was there, so he really started showing interest in tapping and trying to get her attention to lure her out of her burrow. And I was really happy to see that when she finally came out, she was also very interested and very receptive, so the pairing almost happened instantaneously. They really locked up tight and it was difficult to see anything because they just looked like a bundle of legs, but I did manage to get a little peek of insertion as he rolls her over to the side, and that was enough for me to let me know that he succeeded in his job. So that went well. It took him a little while to find her, but once he did, then it was on and she was ready, he was ready, and everything took care of itself. So I'm really happy about that. She didn't want anything to do with him afterward, though. She went straight into her burrow and, pretty much stayed there and did not want to come out. He did try to get her to come back out. He tried to lure her out again, but she was done. That was it. So hopefully I'll get an egg sac out of that. This is not an extremely rare species. They are fairly common in the hobby. You can find them almost all the time, and they don't run for a whole lot, usually around $30 for a spiderling. So it's not any major deal or anything like that, but it's definitely something that I wanted to do. I love the dwarf species, and of course, I don't think that this one gets enough recognition, so I'd like to have more out there. So this next pairing I'm really excited about because it is a pokey species and I love breeding my pokies. This is the Poecilotheria rufilata, commonly known as the red slate ornamental. And the cool thing is I had just posted a video on this one on the Poecilotheria rufilata. I did a species showcase on my last video. Well, this is the very same tarantula, and I have had to move her into a larger enclosure because she was in a smaller enclosure and had outgrown it because this is a large species. So I put her in this new enclosure, and she seems to be enjoying this new enclosure because I see her out every morning when I come in and turn on the lights. She's sitting out on her cork tube or she's sitting on the backdrop, and she stays there for a good while. And I get to enjoy her a whole lot more instead of just hiding all the time in the smaller enclosure. And it's really cool because she'll come out in the middle of the day sometimes and just sit out and let me enjoy her, even get some photographs of her. So it has definitely been a positive thing to move her there. Well, no sooner had I posted that video, as luck would have it, my friend Amanda Beasley of Beasley Exotics posted on Facebook that she had a mature male Poecilotheria rufilata and wanted to know if anybody could use him. Well, I posted, I said, yeah, I could use him. So she sent him to me, and she just sent him out, and she said, good luck. So, here we are. So I'm going to get to try. And the cool thing is she sent me a video before she sent me the tarantula to show me that this guy was ready to go. He was inside of a little deli tub, the 32-ounce deli tubs, just a tapping away. So hopefully this one will go well. What did I do to prepare her for that? Well, I just put her into a new enclosure. I know that she is freshly molted because I had, just recently seen it. And of course, that's when I ended up moving her to the larger enclosure. And of course, I fed her up. Normally, for the Poecilotheria species, I would simulate a rainy season by keeping everything nice and moist in there and wetting everything down. Well, I had been doing that anyway because of putting her into the new enclosure. I had set up some plants and everything. So I wanted those plants to thrive and really get some roots going. So I've been wetting that enclosure anyway. So I had already simulated the rainy season inadvertently, and then luck would have it that I would get a male real soon. So wish me luck on this one. This one is pretty exciting for me, and hopefully it will be exciting for you too. Let's see how this one goes. I was really excited to get a hold of this P. rufilata. This just kind of fell in my lap, and it worked out really well because she had recently molted. I had rehoused her into a larger enclosure, and the conditions were right because I had just planted it and was making sure that everything would take hold. So I had been wetting down the enclosure as I would have if I were preparing her for breeding. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I opened up this little enclosure because I had no experience with him. I didn't know how excited or what his temperament was, so I was real careful to open it up slowly and try to make sure that he would not bolt out on me. And this was a really good sign that he had sensed her. Almost immediately after I pulled him out of the enclosure, he started tapping right away. So that was a real good sign because I didn't think that her pheromones would be as distributed as they were inside the enclosure, but it didn't take him very long to sense her at all. It didn't take her very long to sense him, and this was really exciting for me because she came out practically dancing. There's no better sign than to see her as excited as she was to know that she was ready to go ahead and pair. And I included the sound on this part because I really wanted you to hear the tapping that he does. It's amazing to me how loud they tap. You don't think that they could make such a noise, but they do. When they start tapping on that glass or any hard surface, it gets pretty loud. And this is the moment when he successfully inserted, and from my angle I really couldn't see whether he had done it successfully or not. This is what you want to see if you want to confirm that he achieved insertion. You see how the epigastric furrow is slightly open. Normally this is usually closed and a little bit difficult to see, but when it looks like this, you know that insertion has taken place. And I almost missed it, but he inserted a second time. And I bungled up this part of the video. I bumped into something, but you can clearly see here the epigastric furrow that is open, and I could actually see the sperm that had been deposited. So this was a really good sign. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited about that one. That was an awesome pairing. That was probably one of the easiest pokey pairings I think I've ever done. She was so receptive. She came out dancing practically, tapping away, and he sensed her right away. I couldn't believe that here she had only been in that enclosure for about a week and he was already able to sense her so quickly. Obviously her pheromones or whatever were all over the place because he really did sense her as soon as he came out of that deli tub and started tapping away on the dirt, you know, the substrate, and she sensed him right away, came out, and both of them were ready and willing, and they took care of business really, really quick. That was probably one of the fastest pokey pairings I think I've seen. And the cool thing is I got positive confirmation of insertion on that one because I could definitely see her epigastric furrow was nice and open. And on the first part, when he first inserted, I didn't really witness it. I didn't see it, but I was able to see from the glass that sure enough he had inserted. But the second time around, I definitely got proof of insertion. I could actually see the epigastric furrow and see the sperm deposited in there. So that was a definite confirmation that he had paired with her. So hopefully we will get an egg sac here really soon. My bad camera work. I was trying to get around to get a good look at it, and I ended up bumping into something with my microphone stand, and I ended up messing the whole thing up because I spooked her into her hide and I didn't get a very good video of the epigastric furrow. But there was definitely insertion on that one. So thank you so much, Amanda Beasley, for providing the male. Of course, if I have an egg sac, any babies, I'm going to split them with you. So, you know, that's a given. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I can't ask for more than that. That was really, really cool. So what happens now? Well, now we wait. In about 30 days or so, they should produce an egg sac, and we should see some signs along the way, fattening up of the abdomen and all that as they prepare for their egg sac. And in the meantime, I'll keep the humidity up in the enclosures as I've been doing. And of course, you want to make sure that they are well fed, because when they do create their egg sac, a lot of times they will fast and they won't eat because they're protecting that egg sac, and they will end up you know, you don't want them to eat their egg sac because they're hungry. So you want to make sure that they stay well fed. And of course, probably about 30 days, I will pull their egg sacs just to increase the survivability rate and make sure that they don't eventually eat them. Although I really don't think I have to worry about that. I would much rather pull them out than have to go in there and try to pick out every single pokey baby that gets is scrambling around in there. So I definitely want to pull that egg sac before they hatch out. Thank you so much to Beasley Exotics for providing that mail for me. If you have not checked out BeasleyExotics.com, you definitely should. They have a wide variety of tarantula species to choose from, lots of rare tarantulas, and their list is growing all the time. Not only that, but they also have other invertebrates to choose from as well. So definitely check them out. They are one of my favorite vendors, not just because they are local to me, but I always get quality service from them as well. So check out BeasleyExotics.com, and if you use the code THAVEN10, you can get 10% off your purchase. Before I go, I want to share some really exciting news with you. Exciting for me too, but scary as well. I've been asked to participate in AnimalCon USA, which is going to be in Orlando in August. And Brian Barczyk is putting it on, and he contacted me and wanted to know if I wanted to participate. And it's in my backyard, so I figured I better, because what better way to get publicity and meet people and so on. There's going to be a lot of big names there. Brian Barczyk, one of them, he's a huge YouTuber. If you haven't heard of him, then I don't know where you've been living. Richard Stewart of the Tarantula Collective is going to be there. Tarantula Cat, Dark Den, and so many more than I can list right now. So it's definitely going to be a big deal, and it would be a great opportunity to meet some of your favorite animal YouTubers. I'm going to be fanboying it because I'm small potatoes compared to all these other guys. So I'm definitely going to be going around meeting people and trying to get as many selfies as I can, and maybe some video as well. So I'm really, really excited to be participating in it. I'm scared because I'm just, a little guy compared to all these other people. Yeah, definitely going to be an experience, and I'm looking forward to it. And if you want to know more about it, my friend Richard Stewart of the Tarantula Collective did a podcast on it where he spoke to Brian Barczyk himself, and I'll post a link up there for you to check that out if you haven't seen that already. And I'll definitely put a link down below in the description for AnimalCon USA. So definitely check that out, and I hope to see you there if you attend. And that does it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you want to support this channel, I have a Teespring store where I sell Tarantula Haven merchandise. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to become a patron yourself, there's a link down below in the description, as well as all the others, including animalconusa.com. Check it out. I hope to see you there. Until next time, keep loving them tarantulas.